2. Once again, we're going to throw it back to Moses and D-Man.
Thank you very much, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 2 of 8. There's going to be 4 tonight and 4 tomorrow night, all going to be starting at 8 p.m. Central European time. And my God, I'm joined by Moses. And Moses, what is going on with our goddamn planes?
It looks almost identical. It looks almost identical to the last game. It's almost the same plane path. So now, again, all of these teams trying to get to that Georgia Pole, Gatka, Northwest area, not going to have an easy time. But they've been preparing for this from last game to this one. So we'll see now. I imagine we'll see teams like TSM headed back to the Ferry Pier area, their alternate looting strategy. And now it's going to be favoring Vitality and FaZe, who have the easiest plane in this situation. But we'll see how teams react here, D-Man.
I can imagine they face-palmed again. As soon as they saw it, it's thinking, really, really? Now, actually, you say that. They do see TSM. They are going down there, so it is going to be another fair period, like you say, for them. FC Eastbo also coming across now. It's interesting, actually, looking at FC Eastbo's change. If you think of last night's game, obviously we did have Penta in there, but Penta were going elsewhere. Now, I know what's shifted because FC Eastbo were going around farm last night. Penta were going elsewhere. I'm trying to think of the positions that Penta were going in. They were kind of going for the Gatka West Coast, weren't they, last night?
Yeah, I mean, for former XL Gaming, they are very flexible, but they do tend towards that northern Razak area, maybe getting up towards Severny in some cases. It depends on the plane path. They have no set strategy, but we can already see the first shots ringing out. It's coming from Pachinki, and again, it's Zoktin Nam, the team that had trouble last game. This time it's Dinglerav's out by himself instead of Erky, but he is getting shot down, and so far so good for him. He will make it there, but now not an easy start for Zoktin Nam once again.
Yeah, gets inside just about. That's a Method, of course. Who else from Pachinki would be taking shots on him? There's a couple of teams trying to clash into Rozak as well. I think that's Zoktin Nam just going to blast on through rather than doing anything here. They're going to drive by and through Rozak before the teams set themselves up, because Rozak has already been claimed by the guys there. So they're just going to pass on by. Digital Chaos are further to the south over in school and apartments. They've been around there. So we've got a couple of teams all coming in there. It's the Imperial, I think, that's in Rozak, isn't it, right?
Appears so. And for now, it looks like most teams have settled into their loot spots. We do still have to see Lumber Mill transitioning north, trying to get to that Severny, Kameshki area. Looks like they're just going to do some trash looting on the way there. Liquid getting situated in Yasnaya. The Knights have found their homes as well. So for now, it actually doesn't look too drastic. Digital Chaos is still on transition, and the rest of Zoktin Nam headed up to Georgia Pole. As we see that first circle come in, and it is split not quite down the middle between the military base and the main island.
So it's not too bad a circle. I would guess most people would probably post for the north side rather than Sosnovka. I don't know, man. Actually, when you have like a chunk of Sosnovka that big, sometimes you got to think, okay, but I guess with first circle, you don't want to go for it, but maybe start to look at possibly securing a boat if you need to get across as soon as possible. Obviously, with the plane the way it was, the way it could have crossed, there is a lot of teams on this south coast. So a lot of those boats certainly would have spotted it. Maybe someone even took them up to go north. I don't know. Digital Chaos here coming across. They're having to make a pretty open run. Again, like I was saying, they've been in and around school and apartments, but because of the way the plane was, it was long drop-in for everyone. So kind of a lot of people still trying to find their way. You can see way up north, I think is that Lumber Mill that have decided to go over Stauber and Kameshki way instead of Severny. I guess it's probably the easiest way because the plane came just south of the Povka. So I guess if they long dropped straight away, they maybe found a vehicle and got up there.
And that's really the only option they had. I mean, coming up to these extremities for looting is not always the best game plan, but given the time and space that they've been handed to work with, this is the only thing that Lumber Mill can really deal with right now, and that's coming up to these very interesting looting locations. Looting around in the Stauber area is not super easy, but already you can see this circle having some people entering into the zone. But for the most part, a lot of teams that have landed here are staying central already in this first zone.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty decent. I mean, at least the circle went the way of the plane. I guess that's the one thing we can have for. At least it didn't go to like some sort of weird circle shift up to North Georgia Pole or something like that. Maybe swing all the way up that way. But it does cause problems. Crate coming down It's going to be dropping fairly decently for central-based teams. The bridge, exactly on the light. Well, actually, it's going to go down the hill, isn't it? It's not quite going to land the line. It's really awkward.
That's
it's
all right.
okay. It's
That
not
crate
too bad.
sucks.
It sucks anyway. It doesn't matter. Nobody's going to lose any sleep over that crate.
So the unclaimed crate will sit on the side of the cliffs. But for now, a little bit of a quiet start so far, a little bit less so than what we saw in the last game. But this channel being in the middle of the map is going to cause some problems. Now, typically, we will see this type of circle head toward the center of the map, but there is a chance, a slight chance, but a chance that this will go down to the military base. So we'll see. Looks like Rogue is not betting on that, and Alliance down in Novo likely not as well. But the center of this zone is right on the coast. So we'll see now who decides to go where for available compounds.
Well, you can see that Dingo Rabs, who was obviously close by, is going to try and clash on. He's got a bit of a race on his hands. See who's going to charge into the compounds, or they're going to divert away from each other. This is where the game just finished a moment ago. Oh, no! Oh, Lux. Well, he got away with it. He got away with that. We've seen so many people get knocked from that, but he got away with it. The Diamond Dogs live to bark another day, I guess. Luckily, my dog's not barking anymore.
Hopefully dry it off now. The amount of transitioning here happening in this early game is actually fairly low, considering that there's a lot of opportunity for teams to get centered here. We're not seeing too many shifts just yet. Method has left Pachinki headed towards the hill just outside to the east. For Brexco and company, the current Penta lineup, they have found that coastal centered compound, and now the scouts, those who choose to opt into that strategy, are kind of probing to see where they can go.
They're all trying to get across. Yannick, of course, the boys from Rogue have come across. So this is interesting, right? This is a Sosnovka-based team that has chosen to come north over the bridge and decided to try and get in close. But the problem is they're getting a little too close, and they lose one member as soon as they try and approach the compound. Now, that leaves them in an interesting predicament. We're almost certain the circle will shift this way. It does shift away from the water. It tends to these days. So we're assuming it will go north. Obviously, that's what all the teams are assuming, because nobody wants to be caught the other side of the circle as it will come in. There is still a healthy amount of Sosnovka. You can see Alliance also coming over the bridge as well. They've got to be careful because they know that Milta is obviously occupied by Vitality.
There they come.
Shots on them.
So Vitality, having posted up in the center of the Milta crossroads, has seen Alliance arrive. As we see Monkey figuring out how to shift, get his keys moving him forward here. Little starts and stops there, maybe a bit of lag. But for now, Vitality moving up to meet Alliance, who have arrived on the main island, but have had to stop at the immediate pressure from Vitality. So it looks like Alliance is going to be happy to kind of hang out there as it's in the current play zone and no need to move just yet.
So for me, the obviously teams that are going to get in position is going to be Lumbermill. They're probably going to be the latest coming in. We see Liquid coming down relatively quickly. They're going to get themselves posted. Looks like they're heading for farm, actually, although it's the compact's just north of farm. The Knights, they've grouped up. They've spread their loot out, and they're coming across. Method themselves, they're making the walk on foot, actually, across the hillside. So they're hoping it doesn't have a hard shift, the circle. I actually think Liquid are in a pretty good spot. I'm seeing the circle shifting to the north, and I think, obviously, this sort of area, if they can get in the... No, I was looking actually for the complex more that Dingle Rabs is in, actually. I think that's probably going to be a prime compound. Depends how much the as and when we get to it. It's still closing down. It's got a long way to go at the moment.
So Digital Chaos arriving a little bit late. They've had to go north and then south again, having gone all the way up to Georgia Pole. Going to arrive into a relatively easy spot in the current play zone. No one around to contest just yet, but they are still being cautious, unaware of who might be in the area, but that transition already on the way. So around that Pachinki area is relatively empty, aside from the few that have moved through that area. You can see FCE still to the west, TSM coming out of Ferry Pier, getting fairly close to Lux and company. So now that might be a bit of a pressure point, but for the most part, it's still transitioning teams gingerly making their way into the new play zone.
Yeah, Voxic making his way across the Knights. All getting themselves positioned. Method, of course, already on that hill. Interested in whether they've got any vehicles at all, because it looked like they've gone completely on foot. Yeah, okay, there you go. Answers my question instantly. Chris jumps in Adacio and down the hill they go. Thought he was about to run over his teammate, but he just hops in quickly as they manage to make the way around. Digital Chaos, they're coming across from Pachinki. Everybody starting to look for a compound of some variety, or even just looking on the hills there. 8C going to make his way down. There is a compound just south of them. I expect them to probably venture on into it. Does look like his teammate is already going there, and the Wizard Tower will be his.
We did see a knock coming on to the Knights there. I'm not sure if the finish came in yet, but it looks like the Knights and Method kind of tangled up a little bit there. So both teams are aware of each other. Andy getting the first knock that I've seen so far. We do see 63 alive, so I'm not sure if the Knights were able to recover. Looks like they were able to, so easy peasy for them so far, but that's one knock coming in for Andy. And we will see now as the next shift has about to start here. We do see a lot of teams playing fairly passively here. At least no need to engage just yet, D-Man.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a big circle. What is going on there?
It's a breakdancing competition with the buggy.
Just step away from that vehicle. Just step away and just hope it doesn't explode in your face. Yeah, it's a pretty large circle area. Obviously, circle one it always is. And there was a lot of teams in and around this area. There's a couple of shots off to the left at the moment, which is FC Espo. It's just got knocked by someone from TSM there, I believe, off on the side. So Miss has gone down. Don't think he's going to be able to survive. Unfortunately, his teammates, yeah, he's bleeding out too much now, and they're going to blow the vehicle up just to put insults to injury. So FC Espo will lose one as well. The second player down so far in game number 2. If you missed the first game, it went the way of Alliance. The first chicken dinner we can remember in a while for those boys. Second kill comes in as well. That looks like it's going to get finished off. It will. Digital Chaos getting themselves a couple there as well. They were obviously down to the south of Pachinki. And the circle, it has gone exactly where I expected it to. Center in around Liquid. That's what I was saying. Liquid's position, it looks good on that hillside.
Indeed. Now, with Liquid having a bit of a quiet first game there, Ibiza did crawl his way to a 6th place for his team there in transition, looking to rejoin just to the north of Farm. But there is pressure mounting in all sides. Vitality slowly making their way into that area as well. Alliance arriving. So this right side of the map, this eastern portion of the play zone, even though it is centered, has a lot of teams moving around. And now FaZe is arriving on scene behind Vitality. So this eastern portion of the play zone where we saw a lot of teams dropping just due to the nature of the plane path is now getting very tight.
Well, Cloudtail trying to get a little peek, trying to see what he can see, but nothing really. Get back in his UAZ and off he goes. The Imperials, who have been dropping Rozok so far in the last 2 games, are very, very close. They were trying to get a peek, and you can see what they were looking at. It's the lumber mill guys just the other side of the ridge line, but I think they're happy to stay where they are and see if they can find any shots on them. They will have the high ground there. Meanwhile, everybody else shuffles in. Method, they've crept themselves a little closer. Knights actually way over here. FaZe are getting very close to Vitality over on this hillside. There is a decent hill in amongst them, though, so there should be a decent amount of tree cover. Meanwhile, you can see the coastline, very busy. Alliance, Rogue, separated a little bit there, along with Alliance. Looks like Alliance are heading and trying to occupy Farm, which is large landmass to try and take as a 4-man team. Meanwhile, the boys from TSM, they're changing complete direction. Looks like they want to swing around north.
So this is something that we've seen from them trying to change up the strategy a little bit. I think they're starting to recognize that that southern portion of the play zone is going to be filled with teams, and they're absolutely correct. So this is the right call from TSM. They, at the very worst, will be coming in behind Lumber Mill and the rest of the northern teams who are still moving south. So TSM is going to opt for a passive strategy, however, an effective one at this stage, where they're going to avoid that southern crunch because Digital Chaos was nearby as well. So we'll see how it works out for TSM.
Yep, we'll see whether they get into a position. Everybody moves in. The Imperials chose to make a push. So, okay, so they've come around from just basically west of Gustav there. They've decided to come around and get on towards this crossroads position effectively. Oh, is Chronix actually thinking of going for that crate there? Doesn't look like it. He's going to let it, because he's getting close to him. I think he may be getting in position for it. It's sitting around there somewhere. There it is. Here it comes down. We'll see whether he's going to get any goodies for this one, whether it's going to be worth going for either. It's not bad. I'd go for that. I'd go for that one. That's a pretty good crate. I think Chronix Now, the question is it too exposed? It looks like it's going to land in a fairly open field, so maybe a little too risky to go for.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough call again, but that's going to be a nice pickup. That level 3 helmet, arguably the best portion of that crate, the AWM having limited ammo. Not always the best choice, but definitely a powerful one in these open situations. But that middle south portion of the play zone, DC actually kind of following suit, going a little bit north, coming up the Pachinki Hill. They'll come into the play zone phase. Right now, doing all right, just kind of moving around the lumberyard hill. No pressure from them just yet, but this next play zone, once it begins to shrink, we will see these teams all getting jumbled in together, and that center space is going to be difficult to manage.
Yeah, they've moved into the hills. First Face is the only one that's left there. Samty is just down the hill. Actually, the two brothers taking shots at one another there, Yempty and Samty. But yeah, I think Vitality were getting a little too close for comfort. They were getting a couple of shots on them. They were only in one small building, so certainly siege capabilities there. The circle coming up. FC Espo still outside it. Digital Chaos will just get inside the white in a moment. FC Espo having to make a bit of an arduous journey. Remember, they lost a couple of players early on, so ours is going to try and make his way around the edge here, past the houses and past the school, and then in towards the hillside. It's quite a run outside. I guess they're going to go. The question is, are they going to go the same route that TSM took and come in on the back of TSM? Because TSM certainly won't be expecting that, because they'll be thinking they were a late team doing it. It's a centralized circle, though, the donut, effectively, which is good to see. We're not getting any of these hard shifts.
So for TSM, getting a bit of a lucky break, as they say. So the circle favoring them in the sense that they don't have too far to move, but they will have FCE arriving shortly. So this will be a tough entry for the already half-health Digger, not having a ton of meds at his disposal, obviously. Well, actually, I guess he's been taking zone damage, so maybe he has got some there, but has spent so long in the zone that there's just trying to find time and space. So FCE is going to coast right past TSM and maybe come in on that eastern side of the northern play zone, but they are not going to let them get in easily. TSM opening fire.
Yeah, they're going to try and get through. I'm just looking down south to see. I think Ek is on his own at the moment. The rest of his team are a bit further north from him. He's trying to keep the rest of the Diamond Dogs out of their area, their compound. There is another compound just to the west of them that they could go into, the east of them, sorry. And that may be where Tommy is going at the moment. We're going to see whether he's going to try and sneak his way in. Of course, you'd think that compounds would be pretty busy. It is, of course, the compound that Penta were in just a few moments ago. They've decided to go further north. Vitality actually choosing to rotate around the outside of phase. Remember, they were kind of staring at each other a minute ago. Vitality choosing to go way wide and swing it out. Oroxe is doing the scouting for them, so they're looking towards maybe going towards shelter way. There's not a great deal of cover over that way unless you literally use that shelter entrances as much as possible. Here's the boys from 1. They're making their journey up around the hills, all on foot, and that's a bit of journey they're going to have to make.
Yeah, the foot journey is not going to be easy for them. They're going to be moving right in towards Digital Chaos, not looking in that direction just yet. No vehicle sound to give them away. So for 1, if they're careful and they spot DC first, they might be able to get a surprise attack here. Yoki's just a little bit separated from the rest of the squad. That high side, he's looking back towards them. He might actually spot Mika's here. Not sure if Yoki's has spotted him just yet. He's actually looking away now. Mika's hasn't spotted him either. Yoki's looking back towards him.
Oh my God.
Looks like no vision yet. They're getting closer and closer.
Now Yoki's is looking. Now Yoki sees him. I mean, Yoki's just stood on top of the rock, staring around, but just didn't look around. Mikaz will get taken down. Mikaz, the man that did so well for 1 last night, but doesn't look like he's going to have any support this time. Everybody else is kind of clustered up behind that rock, wondering where they're going to be. Of course, they're going to be fighting in the blue, and this is going to be the 4th circle coming in a moment. So this will start to chunk them down. So they have to make a move here, make some quick decision-making possibilities. Fausto will finish off 1, and Niels tries to flank around. He gets taken down as well. So what are you going to do, Raz and Larry?
They're zoned completely. Yoki's has got them tied up on the right side, and the rest have the open field covered. So Raz is taking lots of tick damage here. Not chunking him too hard just yet, but he's trying to get to his teammate, probably pick up what gear he might have, gear or meds, maybe try and clutch the res. Not able to make it. So at least grab what he can off the fallen compatriot here, as DC has 1 essentially completely zoned here, and not a lot of maneuverability left for the remnants of 1.
Yeah, there's no way they're going to be able to do anything here. I mean, even TSM are getting drawn their attention towards this. Method also looking towards where the shots are going, but the circle will update. Where's 4 going to go? Is it going to be central? Oh, it's took a pretty big deviation, and that's going to cause problems for some major names out there. You can see Vitality, ironically, were down this way. They decided to take the big rotate around towards that shelter area. FaZe themselves, they're already mobile. They tend to be one of the first to be shifting as soon as these circles adjust, but they're going to have to go straight through Team Liquid.
Not to mention Vitality and everyone else who's going to have a line of sight onto them very quickly here. As we see, oh my gosh, another 2 downs quickly come out. That's Fuzzface going down, and that is, I couldn't see who that was. That was Cloudtail finishing him off there. So that's one team taking him out. Yempty having to back off and try and skirt around. It's Mixie and Yempty now spinning out in his buggy, jumping out. This is going to be a disastrous rotate for FaZe, but very few options for movement, as that hard shift left them open to all those teams on the eastern side of the play zone. And Mixie was able to get through, at least so far.
Well, he's still taking shots, so he's not clean, that's for sure. The Knights are trying to light his vehicle up behind him. He's managed to get in. It was Imperial that took down the first 2 members of FaZe. Going to get himself some smoke out there to try and find some cover, because there's not a lot of area to escape in the current position that FaZe are in, but they are inside the circle. That's the main thing. 1 were dealt with, by the way. They are down and out in 16th place. Digital Chaos, as I mentioned, the Method were getting drawn to the shots. They've managed to down Sims of Doom here. So Method starting to engage with Digital Chaos on the western side of the circle.
We could not see if 1 was able to make it in. I do see that there are only 16 teams remaining, so we've had that elimination there as well. Vitality getting involved elsewhere, but Digital Chaos now finding themselves taking lots of casualties here as Method is pressing super hard. Yoki's down here, so now it's going to be up to Ewan and Fausto, who are still taking damage. DC is not doing well so far. Simsy having to move away from his smoke cover. Fausto down again. D-man, this is coming apart for Digital Chaos.
Yeah, Simsy got revived, but it looks like he's going to get picked off here. You can see it's really nice movement from AC, having a really good job. He's got a massive flank. Look at AMPR in the distance. TSM are now coming up behind them. TSM have to come out of the edge circle, and they're running straight into Method. Meanwhile, Vitality have made a decent journey over on the eastern side of the circle. They've managed to get themselves down and close to it, but TSM, how are they going to survive this? They've got to make run from tree to tree. As you can see on the distance, Stab just behind that rock, taking shots at all of them.
It looks like, yeah, Stab is the only one with a line of sight currently. Looking for that headshot is Break with the Car 98, just waiting for that pause, but Stab is going to back off. Ooh, landing one. That's a nice shot from Break. So TSM just looking for a bit of a seam to get up this low side flank onto where Method is looking at them, but Method does have a lot more maneuverability and is spread out. TSM is going to be able to get the zone here, but getting across or at least past Method is going to be very difficult.
Liquid also stumbling up towards the Imperial. You can see James and Co. just where FaZe got wiped out. They're about to stumble on them. Rogue and Alliance in the compound together down here. They're fighting each other. Sigsy just around the side. The Knights also lighting up another member there as Rogue will lose Ewan. I think Yannick might be able to revive him just around the side there. No, he's giving up on him. The circle's pushing. He's going to force them to move. Sigsy will get down, though. And Yannick pushes around the side. He takes a shot in the back. VZ just coming around to try and check his angles along with Fever. So Yannick's got 2 against him. And Rogue will go down in 14th place in game number 2.
Alliance careful not to get too comfortable as Udirmir Fire and his partner looking towards their area of the circle, now pressuring them in. TSM has made it into the zone. But now that's Lumber Mill getting a little bit of a line on to Break. So TSM has a bit of a travel ahead of them as they have to now get down towards Method, maybe wanting to push that gap and come up the low side of that hill, but they do have to move relatively quickly here as that eastern side of the play zone continues to pile up.
Then found Lumber Mill. Driftily getting lit up at the Dacia there. Break's trying to do what he can. Just tapping away. Not going for the spray down there, Break. Impressive. Goes for the straight tapping instead. Looks towards Kane as well. Kane behind the tree, but the vehicle has already been exploded, so he's got some hard cover now. Vitality, meanwhile, are coming the other side of Lumber Mill. Gustav, he's trying to get pushed around there. He has got 1 down, and that nade could be crucial. Let's see, is he going to make the distance? No, he's going to fall short over Roxas. He has managed to get a knock on, but Knights also managed to land one. By the way, FaZe down to 1, just Mexi alive.
FaZe having a tough couple of games here so far based purely on the rotations not going to their favor. So now Liquid getting involved, getting very close to Vitality on the low side flank. James got that AK primed and ready. Monkey down right in front of them. Nays come out to try and help. Now it's a matter of just getting on that low side flank. Shadow is there. The nades coming has notified Vitality that they have more on the way. Jeem's not able to execute that flank just yet, and Vitality now on the move perpendicular to them. So we'll see now if they can actually do anything as that circle's pressuring everybody.
Yeah, everybody's going to move here. Jeems is going to try for the hard push. He's got to be careful, though, because you saw them already jumping up and down, trying to get an angle on him. He will manage to catch a glimpse on towards Shadow. Can't quite finish him off, though. Goes to ground, looks towards the next member of Vitality. Has to pop down, but the blue circle is on the back of them. Kane also taking shots the other side of them. He manages to get a knock inside there. So Digital Chaos getting heavily involved in this one because they took down Gustav earlier on. And this is just going to be a full-on sandwich for Vitality. But Liquid are being picked apart around the side. Shiv will get knocked in the end there. And Vitality go down to Team Liquid. But it's not done yet. Meanwhile, Knights have taken Alliance out in the kill feed as well. So the clashes, this has gone from 40 teams to 24 already. Liquid go down to the nades of Digital Lumbermill, sorry.
Liquid had that almost sewn up. They did take 2 downs there, so the team fight did not go necessarily all the way in their favor. They were able to eliminate Vitality, but not before the remnants of Lumbermill showed up and started throwing grenades. But now the Knights are dealing with the remnants of Lumbermill. So this eastern and northern portion of the play zone is an absolute nightmare for these transitioning teams.
Nate's bouncing everywhere. Wookie Bookie's got to move. He's lucky he didn't get bounced by that one because that would have sent him down the hill. Now he's seen Mexi. Look in the distance. He's actually running towards him. He's smoking it up, and he sees that car, and he's thinking, oh, great, go on. Mexi's sat in the vehicle, isn't he? No, it's the other side of it. So he's blown the vehicle up, and he's sat the other side. Wookie Bookie's running straight towards him. No clue. Mexi's going to be hearing it. He pops up. Is it going to be a surprise for Wookie Bookie? It is. And that's going to be the Lumbermill going down in 7th place. Teams are falling thick and fast as we go to the last 20, and the circle goes to Method again.
So Method here quietly just holding on to a very nice spot. They have a high ground position. All they have to worry about is the pressure coming from behind for TSM. The Knights are still shooting down onto Penta, who have very tough positioning right now. They have smokes out, but they haven't been able to move just yet. So the Knights are playing that high ground gatekeeper. We see Chronix going down, or is down rather, and it looks like the res is going to be fairly difficult to execute.
A couple Magic and UDMA Fire trying to get up the hillside. Looks like the res, yeah, don't think it's going to be coming. Meanwhile, you can see down south, that is the guys, team 12 is Zucht Adnam. They've got 4 players moving into the circle. Method also got 4 in the circle as well. TSM were just north of Method, so they're still, remember, they clashed with each other earlier on. Now, these guys, they're kind of out of vision from Method. TSM, though, they're certainly going to be in vision. Mex is on the move. He knows that Knights know his position now because he had to deal with Wookie Bookie. And actually, if he comes over the brow of the hill, he's going to have clear vision of TSM here, but it's going to be a 1v4.
Interesting positioning here from TSM, not really behind any sort of cover. They are spread out. Not a lot of vision coming from Smack in that reverse kind of support role. He does have the low side flank covered. But they are going to have to press forward. So this spread here from them, I'm not sure exactly what the game plan is, but Mixie's arrived behind them, and he can definitely see break. And here it comes. Downs 1.
Just one. Sees break. Gets breakdown as well. Looks towards Rory and Smack, but will get taken down. But the damage is done, and they're outside the circle. They're going to have to go some fast revives here from Smack, running towards AMPR first, trying to get him up, but the circle is still pushing. Remember, Method were just over the brow of the hill. Looks like they're going to push up. They're going to have a look. 8C's already up here. Stab's already looking. They want to deal with the rest of TSM. Method are going aggressive. They're looking for the kills. They're looking for AMPR. They're going to find him as well. They're going to finish everybody off, and Method just dealing with TSM. Smack, the last man, with AMPR. They have to back away from this one. They have to respect the push. They can't go for the heels. Oh, he got Rory up, but he gets taken down instantly.
TSM returning fire. AC down to half damage. It looks like 2 down for Method, but the nades come out, and that is all down. That's a touchdown sent from Chris, as that takes out almost all of TSM with one fell swoop. Method has come across and completely destroyed them. Mixie playing spoiler there for TSM, sneaking in behind. Method noticed the 2 downs and the gunfire, immediately go for the press, and it was an absolute master stroke there from them as they eliminate TSM. And that's Method getting super high on the kill leaderboards early in this game.
Yeah, that's 2 teams they've taken down now quite successfully. Method, as I said yesterday, they performed really well. They performed excellently in week 3 of the Auzom as well. Got themselves 6 kills and counting so far, with keeping 4 alive. But While that all happened, the Knights have snuck in. They've got 3 members to the side of them, and they have a really good flank angle on the Method there, along with the boys from Penta. They've just lost one. Udime Fire should be get revived here from Chronix. Should be okay. Looks like they clash with Zuktek Nam, because Zuktek Nam have lost one as well. They're going to revive over there. The Uncharged is currently down. Of course, the hillside, the hill advantage is very much in favor of Method and Knights.
Looks like Method and Knights are kind of posturing with each other here. Knights looking up towards them. They know Method is there. Both teams do have to get into the new play zone, at least slightly. Method will lose that topside advantage, I believe, but they're now crawling towards the Knights. Looks like they are ready to take another engagement. Method is feeling it right now, and the shots ring out.
Immediately, Knights get one knocked. Looking across, trying to find Stab. Oh, he was so close to finding the head, but Voxic will go down, and now Kramer is the last man standing for his team, and a nade will just roll straight up to that tree if they have any left. After dealing with TSM, It doesn't matter. Andy Pyra comes around the far side and gets himself all 3 kills. Nicely played, Method. That's 9 kills and counting for Method, who've still got 4 alive. But look at the position that Penta and Zuktek Nam have took. Method have to clash into them.
So again, Method just rolling through teams right now, playing with an extreme amount of confidence, looking down. The shots continue. HC trying to pick off the moving, I believe that's Zuktek Nam below them. Or sorry, that's Penta actually moving along below them.
Yeah, Stab's down. So they've lost Stab in the distance there. That's Zuktek Nam. As you mentioned, Aki in there. They're still not really in the zone. They have to be right on the brow of the hill. Brexico comes up. Oh, he tries to mow them down. He gets Andy down, but he will get quickly revived. Now, will Zuktek Nam pounce on that? I wonder. They're looking to go for it. Uncharged is coming up around the hill. Ake is also going to try and push. So they're really trying to pay dividends to what's just happened. The unfortunate is for Method. Could be there, capitalized, but nicely played. He peeks around the sides. They completely expected it. And Money Fridge suddenly realizes the danger. Tries to toss out the nade. That's going to trickle off down the side. He won't do anything. He's going to look towards it. 80 goes for the aggression. Looks for the side. You can see Chris coming around. He's going to get his angle on him. He will manage to take him down. And Zuktek now get eliminated by Method. They are going huge right now. And it's just 2 members of Penta left down the hill. Udime Fire and Chronix versus Method.
AC with the huge clutch protection on that res that really prevented any presses there. I'm not sure if they were actually able to save Andy. I only see AC and Chris left. So although it was not 100% successful, AC did great there to make sure that the pressing Zuktek Nam did not get close. And the absolute aggression from Method has led to team fight after team fight going relatively in their favor. And they find themselves now in a 2v2.
In a really interesting position. There's that large tree blocking with all its leaves, the angle between the two, which is why you see Chris trying to posture himself out wide. He's trying to have a little flank around. Udime Fire may just get a glimpse of him there, but they're both going to have to shuffle up to it. Method are the closer to the circle. It's Udime Fire and Chronix that have to go uphill and then conversely exposing themselves. Look at Chris's angle. Chris around the side gets a big old hit onto Udime Fire, but he didn't quite get the knock.
So if they're patient, they will allow the circle to press the remnants of Penta up towards them. But for now, they do have a nice angle here, does Chris. So he could potentially push this flank if he wants to get brave with 80 above. And that's 1 down already.
Massive kill count, 14 kills and counting with 1 more down. All they have to do, 80's got to come from above on Udime Fire. Looks like Aaron peek around the side, completes the kill onto Chronix. Looks towards Udime Fire, knows he doesn't have that tree trunk. Tries to flank left, tries to flank right. Chris is making the move. He's going to go around the side. Udime Fire's in all sorts of trouble in his 2v1. They're trying to use 2 angles. He can't have an angle. He's got to try and back down. He will get taken down. And Method will come out with 16 kills and the chicken dinner in game number 2. A massive, massive performance from the boys at Method. They certainly have been performing online over the last 3 weeks. It's really impressive. And wow, what a finish.
No doubt. And with Method, the confidence really stands out to me. I mean, look at that top 2 between Chris, AC, Andy with the 2, Stab with the 2. So even kills among all of them there. A really nice performance, and Method showing that they can really go after it, playing with some of the attributes we've seen from other top teams, specifically FaZe and that kind of that really nice team fighting behavior. Loved what I've seen from Method this game.
Someone looking down the board, you can see the Knights. They managed to get themselves into 4th place. Really nice job from them to keep themselves in there. Of course, they played spoiler on a lot of teams throughout that one. TSM in 5th place as well. got themselves 8 kills in total, actually, because remember they had to flush out a couple of teams. FaZe, again, they get themselves into 6th place despite having a really poor performance. They were in 9th in the last game and 6th in this game, so they've got a lot of work to do to make up if they're trying to get into the higher games. Of course, we have 2 more games to go. Not only that, we have 2 analysts to take us through all the action. Cameron and Jorasar are standing by. What do you make of that game?